Okay, like I said, I'm really not looking forward to this part of the game, but we have to make it through it, so we're going to. Um, I also said that I wouldn't be using a walkthrough, but I will say that I looked up what to do in this part because I don't want to spend hours here. This is where my playthroughs would would tend to end when I was younger. So I want to get through it, and I want to keep moving forward in the game, and we're going to do that as quickly as we can. So here we go. So I think he spawns there every time you come into this hallway. I don't think this is the right door. I think this is the one. And we're gonna save every time we come into a room. We'll probably save while we're in the room. Okay. Do we need this room?
Boy, whoever sat here was really good at tic-tac-toe.
Just want to take everything in here.
A team pennant. Paul must be a real baseball fan.
Grab the pennant. I think this is where we hide over here if the security droid comes in. Goodness gracious, the finickiness.
I love finding unlocked drawers.
Examine this pennant real quick.
Let's take a look at this thing. What do we have here? It's like a computer access card.
Okay. Go ahead and pop another save. Probably unnecessary, but like I said, I don't want to lose too much progress when we die in here, and I expect we will die a couple of times. Okay. Supposed to be a hex wrench on the floor somewhere. So far, I don't see it.
Boy, whoever...
Same. Can't look at the Moonchild poster. Oh, there's the hex wrench.
A hex wrench.
It's supposed to be a portable TV is what it is.
What a cute little TV. I wish I'd found this little sucker a couple hours ago. Now I've missed all the good soaps.
Okay.
Nothing else left in here.
Nothing there.
Nothing else left in here. Nothing else left in here. It's like the TV has no reception capability. It's set up to run only when hooked to a Laserdisc player.
Okay.
I should turn on the
Computer passcard required to access this computer. Warning. Security sweep will begin in 5 seconds.
Okay, so this is the thing that happens in here from time to time, and you have to hide in this corner, I think. We'll save to make sure that we did this right. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. A little surprised you only get 5 minutes. That seems cruel. Or 5 seconds, I should say.
Thank you.
To whoever reads this, the information contained in this file was to be delivered by me to Colonel Dobbs. I have been collecting this information over the past 6 weeks. I'm now being watched, and I doubt I'll be able to get in touch with the Colonel. Whoever you are, please get this information to the Colonel. He has promised to take it to the authorities. Menu. Crusade for Genetic Purity. Oh, do I click on these? Oh, I do. Okay. Wow, it's a lot of stuff. The Crusade for Genetic Purity. Soon after I was hired at GRS, I was asked to submit to a genetic scan. When I was found to have no genetic defects, I was invited to join the Crusade for Genetic Purity. I resisted initially, but accepted when I found out that Ava Shanzi wanted to become a member. Ava is a project supervisor here at GRS. I admit I had a romantic interest in Ava and thought it would be a way to get to know her. A small group of people met in Marcus Tucker's office after work, and Ava and I were initiated. It didn't take long to realize that the group was not the Crusade for Genetic Purity. Members called themselves the Brotherhood of Purity, and there were dark rituals and readings of prophecy. Frankly, I was scared, but I was sure that there would be no way out once I was involved. It was Ava who told me to contact the Colonel about exposing the Brotherhood. GRS Project. The project we've been working on is being directed by Marcus Tucker, with Eva Shanzi, Thaniel Murray, and Camden Leander as project supervisors. Tucker has divided the project phases so only he knows everything that's going on. My part in the project has been to develop a specific artificial viral strain, which I've been told will be used in treating respiratory ailments such as bronchitis and asthma. At one time, there were at least 30 people working on the project. Now we're down to 8. I tried to contact some of the employees that left, but I couldn't. Today I found out what happened to them. Some of them were considered to be genetically suitable and have been sent to the Moonchild. The rest are dead. I accidentally found a recording made of an experiment. The test subject was one of my former co-workers. I only saw a few moments of the experiment, but it was horrible. I'm sure that experiment involved the use of an airborne virus that was inhaled. It caused a violent death almost instantly. It's horrifying to think that my research was has probably contributed to the virus that was being tested. Okay, so there's a virus. The Moonchild. Those who've heard about the Moonchild have been told that it's a religious getaway for faithful members of the Crusade for Genetic Purity. I found out otherwise. It was constructed by the leader of the Brotherhood of Purity, as referred to as the Ark of Humanity. The only people allowed to go there are members of the Brotherhood, genetically pure humans. The Moonchild is gigantic and has been constructed to easily support thousands of people, along with all known forms of animal and plant life for several generations. Okay, so it's an ark. The ultimate purpose behind the Moonchild is to provide a safe haven for the faithful, while the Earth is going through its final purification. I don't know exactly what the purification entails, but I believe it's directly related to the experiments we've been doing here at GRS. And there's a video. Okay. The initiation to the cult. When I was initiated, Marcus Tucker informed the others at the meeting of my genetic purity, then went on to give a short speech. This is what he said to the best of my recollection. Principles of the Brotherhood of Purity has existed for thousands has existed for thousands of years, but the order itself was founded by the Docetists in 300 AD. We know little about those who founded our order, only the truths that were left behind and passed down from one generation of the Brotherhood to the next. These truths are contained in an ancient text known as the Secret Doctrine. Through the ages, our power has lain in anonymity. We have quietly prepared for the day in which the Docist prophecy will be fulfilled, and the genetically pure will inherit the earth. Many of history's greatest figures belong to the Brotherhood, but this fact does not appear in any history book. Each of these men, however, laid groundwork for the next generation. Each man's action a single stone added to a massive structure. It has now been 1,000 generations since the foundation of the Brotherhood of Purity, and the time has come for the prophecies to be realized. All has been prepared with the exception of finding the ancient Hubba, a powerful talisman forged of magical elements, being the vessel through which the Brotherhood's power is channeled. When we have reclaimed the Hubba, we will journey to the Moonchild, the guardian of the faithful, the guardian of the faithful. I thought it should be garden. And there we will celebrate the purification, the time when the earth will be cleansed of all genetic abominations. Then, after the waiting, we will return to a pure world and enter the glorious new age. Secret Doctrine. The Brotherhood follows the prophecies contained in an ancient text known as the Secret Doctrine. From what I have read, been told, and overheard, I've come up with a description of the Brotherhood's objectives. The Secret Doctrine tells of an entity called the Incubus, which the Brotherhood could summon when all the prophecies had come to pass. When I was initiated, I learned that only one prophecy had not yet been fulfilled, having possession of something called the Habba. From what I could gather, the Habba is some kind of mystical statuette, which holds sacred powers. That must be the bird statue. Once the Brotherhood found the Habba, the incubus would then create a moonchild. This moonchild would be the destroyer of the genetically impure and the guardian of the pure and faithful. Another of the prophecies says that a great storm called the Great Alluvion will come from the skies and destroy the impure. This process is referred to as the purification. I think the Brotherhood plans to accomplish this by introducing an airborne virus into the Earth's atmosphere. After the purification, in which all life on Earth is exterminated, comes the period of time known as the Waiting. Prophecies say this will last for 2 generations. It was for the Waiting that the Moonchild was constructed. After the Waiting, the pure races aboard the Moonchild will return to the Earth and begin the New Order. Known history of the Brotherhood of Purity. Origins of the Brotherhood. The origins of the Brotherhood of Purity predate written history, so many of the details are lost. The Order started in the Far East among a small group of men whose concepts reached thousands of years into the future. While other, more primitive men were learning the uses of metal and stone, this Brotherhood was embracing the rudimentary principles of eugenics and ethnic cleansing. Okay, that's nice. The names and acts of the founders were passed down orally for hundreds of generations. The genealogy, philosophy, and icons of the Brotherhood, however, were not fully committed to paper until the 3rd century AD. A group of men, known to outsiders as the Docetists, composed an expansive tome, attempting to summarize the history and doctrine of the ancient order. This text became known as the Secret Doctrine and was accepted as the official word of the Brotherhood. Is that a real thing? Are Docetists a real group? The Roman Empire. The Brotherhood of Purity grew steadily in power during the rise of the Roman Empire. Despite the enormous wealth and influence of the Brotherhood, its anonymity was preserved. The number of those who were initiated and received the teaching, signs, and passwords was kept to a bare minimum, ensuring complete dedication and fealty, as well as avoiding the dilution of quality, which inevitably comes with overpopulation. When the Roman Empire fell, the Brotherhood survived unscathed. In fact, it is speculated that the Order hastened the downfall for its own benefit. The Empire had grown obese and sedentary and was no longer conducive to the higher ideals of the Brotherhood of Purity. The members of the Order cast their eyes toward the fierce and hungry tribes of Anglos and Saxons, which were not as intellectually advanced as the Romans, but had not suffered the physical decline. The Middle Ages. Many of the kings in medieval Europe were members of the Secret Brotherhood. One was King Henry I, also known as King Henry the Fowler. He ruled Britain around 900 AD and was considered a visionary by the other members of the order. He prophesied that a gigantic storm will appear from the eastern sky and will overwhelm the impure, and this was added to the secret doctrine. Other pivotal and powerful rulers of the Middle Ages were secretly affiliated with the Brotherhood of Purity, including Charles the Great, Henry the Lion, Otto the Great, Philip of Swabia, Conrad IV, and Frederick Barbarossa. While King Charlemagne was not deemed intellectually suitable for the Brotherhood, his closest advisor and confidant, Hugo von Turon, was a high-ranking member. His influence on Charlemagne drastically affected the course of Europe's and the world's history. Counted among the members of the Brotherhood were not only kings and statesmen, but also religious figures, such as Basilius Valentius, Bishop Klingzor, the Count of Acera, and Ecbert of Moran, the 13th century Bishop of Bramberg. The Spanish Inquisition was instigated by a single radical member of the Brotherhood who held a high position in the papal order. It is commonly believed that hundreds of thousands were put to the death because they refused to join the Catholic faith. In actuality, these deaths were the result of an enormous ethnic cleansing. This was done, however, of the brothers' own volition and was not an act of the Brotherhood. Oh, well, that's nice. Splinter groups. Throughout the Middle Ages and into the 20th century, there were several branches which sprang from the Brotherhood. The Crusades were, in part, associated with one of these branches. Eventually, this main body was able to pair off the splinter groups, but not without great bloodshed and civil war. Most of these conflicts have been misinterpreted by history, indicating the extreme and far-reaching power of the Brotherhood of Purity. Adolf Hitler somehow obtained a manuscript of the secret doctrine that was heavily influenced by the principles of the Brotherhood, though he was never a part of the order. It took many years for the Brotherhood to undo the damage done by this madman. Well, so at least they're not Nazis. Even in the years which have followed, The main core of the Brotherhood has had to deal with other mutated branches, some of which have grown to massive proportions, before the influence of the Brotherhood could bring them under control. Okay, I don't get that. So they're not Nazis, but they seem worse because they want to kill more people. Let's see if there's anything else I have to do in this room. I'm going to consult my walkthrough really quickly here to make sure I stay on the right path. Okay, I think we're done in this room.
Warning.
And of course,
Security sweep will begin in 5 seconds.
so I think that happens, that's like guaranteed to happen because we spent so long on the computer. There's like a timer and it'll immediately happen. And it will immediately happen a certain amount of time after that timer, or immediately after, you come out of something that causes the timer to kind of pause. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save before I go out here because I can get killed in the hallway very easily. And we're going to look for the supervisor's room. Sounds very close to us. Is this the supervisor's room? I don't know. Oh. Oh, there's the thing. Let's get away from that. Is there anything down this central hallway? Doesn't look like it. That is the project supervisor's room. Okay, so we'll go in here. And we'll immediately pop a save. And I'll take a look at what I need to do while I'm in this room. I didn't see everything I need to do, but I know where to hide, which is the main thing I need to worry about.
The air vent looks like it could be removed with a hex wrench. The opening isn't big enough for me to get through, though.
Okay, well, luckily we have a good little buddy we've been bringing around with us.
Poor little guy. He must have tripped something on the console, or maybe the old roast beef sandwich spontaneously combusted. At least he got the door open for me.
I'm not sure I understand what just happened there. So I think this is where we hide from the security suite. And I think we'll go ahead and wait for that, just to make sure we've got the most possible time before we do what we have to do next.
No way into this high security area. The switch to the door is that red button on the table. But what's that I see sitting next to it? That's a roast beef sandwich.
I'm glad that dialogue is the same, even though we've gained access to this area. Just waiting for the security sweep. It seems like there's quite a bit of time in this room between security sweeps, so we should only have to do this once if we're lucky. I'd rather do it now. And you can travel. Not around GRS, though. Just to the hallway. Okay.
Warning. Security sweep will begin in 5 seconds.
That is really not a lot of time if you're like in this room with these weird squirmy controls. Okay, let's go ahead and save right here. And we'll do this as quickly as we can. So, this is Eva's computer.
It's a memo. It says, memo to Marcus Tucker. This disc was confiscated from Ava Shanzi before she was imprisoned on the Moonchild. We are still searching her personal effects for any sign of the Winter Chip.
Okay, so Eva Shanzi is alive.
Just standard.
I can't open anything. Must be something under one of the desks. Must be something in a desk drawer too. I don't even see any desk drawers we can. Oh, we can open these drawers.
This looks like it might open.
Security card. Can't open these ones. This corner. Security sweep. I'm not seeing the thing I'm supposed to be finding. I make sure I do this correctly. I think I can prompt the security sweep by going to the travel screen.
Warning.
Yes, okay.
Security sweep will begin in 5 seconds.
Okay. So the security key, there it is.
This computer card belonged to Ava Shanzi. Maybe I should just take a look at Ava's computer.
We will do that.
Computer passcard required to access this computer. Thank you.
I've made initial contact with the cult. The colonel's information was right on. There are at least 2 employees here that are members. I haven't been able to find a solid link between GRS and the cult, but I'm sure Tucker knows what's going on. Over the past month, I've been letting people know that I support the eugenics movement. Finally, I was contacted today by a cult member named Murray. He's a project supervisor. I'll be attending an initiating meeting tomorrow night. I've gotten to know one of the young researchers, Paul Dubois. I'm fairly sure he knows nothing about the cult. He told me that Tucker doesn't trust most of his staff and has the project groups working separately. 9 or 10 people came to the meeting in Tucker's office. The only ones I knew were Tucker, Murray, and Paul. I got the name of only one other cult member, a creepy little Nazi named Camden Leander. He seemed to be the highest-ranking member. I didn't learn much. They seemed more concerned with grilling me and Paul. I don't think Paul is cut out for the cult. I think he's attended the meetings to get to know me. I've advised him to get out while he can. Also, there's a young woman named Elena Moore who works as Tucker's assistant. She doesn't seem to know what's going on here. I think she knows too much, and she'll probably be eliminated when the current project is finished. I've warned her to get out of the company. It looks like the project is almost completed. The cult members are ecstatic. I keep hearing them use the words purification and illuvion. I don't know what they mean, but whatever's going to happen is going to happen soon. I'm not going to use a chip until I have a better idea of what they're up to. At our last meeting, there was an older man. He looked familiar, but I couldn't place him. Apparently, he's in charge. I noticed him staring at me during the meetings. Afterwards, he pulled me aside and said there would be a special place for me in the new order. I'm going to play along.
Okay, so those were some bangs, and we learned a little bit more about what Eva Shanzi was up to. Let's take a look at this laser disc. Maybe not.
It's like the TV has no reception capability. It's set up to run only when hooked to a laserdisc player.
Oh, we have to get a laserdisc player. Okay. Let's go ahead and prompt a security scan. Oh, maybe that doesn't do that. But it did. Let me try something again. Okay. Let me save, and then I'm going to travel to the GRS hallway. I just really don't want to open that door right when the bot's there. So the thing about traveling in this game is you can travel whenever you're not in imminent danger of death. So when that travel button goes down, that means you could die, or either you will die or you have an imminent death opportunity coming. Okay, it looks like we want to go. Looks like we want to go to the conference room next. So we will go do that. And the robot's coming right for us. It's Marcus Tucker's office. Here's the conference room. Okay, and we will pop another save. I know I'm being aggressive with the saving, but I have a lot of bad memories of this part of the game. We want to find a laserdisc player in the desk. Oh, this is so squirrely.
Oh, it's an electronic shop laserdisc player. Chintzy, but it looks like it works.
Let me actually figure out where I'm supposed to hide in this room. I don't know what I'm going to do if the security bot comes. Crouch down behind this small desk in the corner of the room. Okay, so I guess I hide here. Doesn't seem like a very good place to hide. But okay.
Another Playbub magazine. Say what you will, but I love the articles.
Hello, I'm Marcus Tucker.
Okay. I'm guessing we're going to use that to defeat a voice lock. And I should say, well, I did look at a walkthrough. I did not examine it super closely. It's locked.
Well, this must be the...
I know we can get interesting quips about all these people around the room, but I'm not sure if we want to do that right now. I don't think there's anything else to do in this room until after we get rid of that security bot. So let's see if we can do that yet. Okay. We can. So let's go do that. Once again, I'm going to use this to get to the hallway. Just so I don't risk accidentally running into the security bot. And we're going to save again really quickly. Sounded like that bot was getting pretty close there. Not going to lie, there's a little bit of anxiety. So this is where we hide in this room, right here behind these plants. I'm going to do that while I read what I'm supposed to do next. Okay. Yeah, I mean, these controls, I'm just going to save real quick. These controls can easily get you in trouble in this sort of a sensitive area. I'm going to see if the travel screen will work. Did not. Okay.
An old-fashioned red tip wouldn't match. An old piece of masking tape is stuck here. Looks like some numbers are printed on it.
Okay, 142235. Let's remember that. Let's go back over here. Security sweep. Oh my god. I'm going to save again in case I'm not in the right place and the security sweep catches me. But we're going to wait for the security sweep here because we have a sort of a very tight timeline to do the remaining things we need to do in this room.
Warning. Security sweep will begin in 5 seconds.
Okay, I know this is getting old, but I'm going to save one more time because this is the sort of dangerous thing we need to do. We're going to go do this as quickly as we can.
This panel must control access to the safe. Looks like it's a voice-activated ID system. My guess is that only Marcus Tucker's voice will work on this system.
To access the safe, please prepare for voice ID verification. Please speak your name now.
Hello, I'm Marcus Tucker. Hello, I'm Marcus Tucker. Hello, I'm Marcus Tucker.
Stand by for DNA scan.
Oh shit.
DNA incompatible. Attention, security, intruder on premises.
Okay, so we have very limited time to do these next steps. I apologize for not looking at everything. E tab. Up, up, up. Okay, I'm gonna save again because this is still fairly tight timeline to do this. And there we go. So the security bot is now trapped in the safe, and we no longer have to worry about dying. So I will save it yet one more time. My 40th save. Almost, I'm assuming at least half of them in this room.
I'm willing to bet that access to this computer is extremely unlikely.
But we now have I'm going to leave this room because that noise is going to make me crazy if I don't. We now have sort of our free run of the place without having to worry about that security bot. So I'm going to come back into the conference room. And this is kind of where I've stopped looking at the walkthrough from here on out, since I knew I just needed to get past that part. But this is a puzzle. Oh, this is a terrible puzzle. Okay. I think we can assume it starts. It's not the beginning. So this, oh, it's going to start with Brother Marcus. Okay. So we can assume this is the first letter. So brother. I guess it could be Brothel Marcus, but I don't. That's right. The mouse sensitivity is really annoying on this too. Because it does feel like there's something that's trying to snap it, but that could just be in my head. It could just be. It's supposed to be a C. Probably covered it up. Here it is. Brother Marcus, and then there's going to be a colon. We are seekers. It's either going to be, I think it's going to be of or only. I think it's going to be of. Seekers of. So this is going to be the second half of a T, or an H, I should say. This is going to be we're seekers of purity. I did remember there was like an anti-mutant angle to this game. I did not remember that there was full on like, we're a secret society behind, you know, everything. So this is going to be Shanzi here. It's a little hacky. But then again, I mean, I knew that coming in. The next game, which is the Pandora Directive, is kind of the main reason I'm willing to play through this one first, because I like Ender Killing Moon and I have a lot of nostalgia for it, but I also have a good amount of nostalgia for the Pandora Directive, and I think the Pandora Directive is just a phenomenal sequel. It's just a bigger, badder version, a bigger, more complicated more difficult version of this game. It really is an excellent sequel. Chansey is... This could be... It's not right. That's not right. This is going to be retired. This is going to be genetically pure. Is that ET? There we go. Yeah, Under a Killing Moon is really good. There was I was reading something on the unofficial Tex Murphy website forums, which is something I discovered a few years ago, and I was seeing somebody argue that this is a better game than Pandora Directive, and I don't agree with that. Although there are definitely parts of Pandora Directive that I really hate. Overall, I think it's a more interesting story. And a more ambitious and better production, better produced, better pretty much everything than this one. But this one is actually, it holds up pretty well, and the controls are not as bad as I'd feared. They're not good, don't get me wrong, but I've been able to basically deal with it. And I did cheat a little bit for this part here in GRS. Not a little bit, quite a bit actually, but this is not a part of the game I remember fondly, so I don't feel that bad, and I'm glad to be past it. You ever have like those games that you think are really excellent, but there's a part of it that keeps you from wanting to replay it? Well, that was GRS for me with this game. Brother Marcus, we are seekers of purity who will abide no defect in spirit or form. The time is close at hand. Your work was exemplary and adhered in every detail to the holy prophecies. Now that we have the sacred relic in our possession, our plans can be carried out. I regret that you had to eliminate Dubois. Alas, such is the folly of man. Chansey is being held on the Moonchild and will pay dearly for her treachery. Also, as feared, Brother Thaniel was not genetically suitable for our order and had to be retired. Now your instructions. Go to the Bastion of Sanctity. Longitude 122 degrees, 47 minutes, 11 seconds. Latitude 41 degrees, 28 minutes, 6 seconds. Upon arriving, the chameleon will provide you transport, though he will not travel with you to the Moonchild just now, as he has other business to attend before joining us. Godspeed, brother. Okay. And we didn't examine these while we were in the office, so that makes me wonder if I just didn't put these together exactly right, and like if I mess with them a little bit, they'll snap together and I'll get points. I don't really care that much about points, but I definitely solved this, so let's examine these other inventory items we have. That is a match.
Let's take a look at this Buddha. Whoops. So clumsy. I'll be darned. This must be the winter chip, and it was right here under the cult's nose the whole time.
So I remember specifically that you will die at the beginning of one of the days. I think it's either the next day or the day after that, if you do not do this. You have to hide the winter chip in the watch. I'm assuming this is just a video cassette.
Looks interesting, but I'll need to find a video cassette player.
Okay. I'm assuming there's a video cassette player.
My home movies would look great on that screen. There must be a remote control panel that controls this video screen. Maybe it's somewhere on the conference table. Some kind of remote control pad. Probably controls the audio-video display. Well, the video screen works. Now I need to get something to actually come up on the screen. Locked.
I'm guessing that's where the VCR is.
Well, that's not...
I also love the idea of using a VCR in 2042. If you were going to keep a VCR locked, right, you would keep the key in the same room. Maybe I'm thinking too logically. I think I'm getting like a primordial memory of it being like on the wall somewhere. Yeah, there it is.
Hey, a key. Must open something here in the room.
I remember thinking this is one of the most bullshit things. Okay.
Looks like a state-of-the-art VCR. Okay, it's turned on now.
A state-of-the-art VCR from 2042.
Though not an effective way to infect the mass population, the viral powder combined with tobacco then inhaled is the quickest way to provoke death. Witness its effects on the traitor Paul Dubois. On a larger scale, the virus can be introduced into the upper atmosphere by means of dispenser satellites. With proper flight path alignment and a minimum of 100 dispensers, Earth's atmosphere could be thoroughly saturated within 12 hours. Once in the atmosphere, the viral molecules bond to condensing moisture and create a seeding effect. The ensuing rainstorms would bring the virus down to the planet's surface. As we have witnessed, the effect of the virus is almost instantaneous, and the entire fauna population of the Earth should expire within several days at most. While this method of extermination is thorough, its residual effects are significant. The atmosphere will continue to cycle the virus for years until natural decay and filtering cause the viral strain to become a negligible portion of the atmosphere. We estimate that this process will require a minimum of 30 years to complete.
I really like that little animation. It reminds me a little bit of Jurassic. Well, I mean, this may be because of the helium. Excuse me, the helix, the DNA helix may remind me of what triggers this, but it reminds me of a little animation from Jurassic Park with Mr. Dino DNA. And there is going to be a joke for every single one of these, but I'm not going to do that. Okay. So, I think we're almost done here, except that I think we need a sample of the viral powder. And I'm guessing that's going to be in the R&D room. And I don't know if that's true or not. I remember what we're going to do to the chameleon later on. I suspect we need to have something. Maybe we don't get it from here, though. Let's go ahead and save. And then let's actually travel. Oh, we can't go anywhere other than Texas office, which leads me to believe that we're actually done for the day. Okay. Let's see what happens here.
Sure, I'm glad to be out of GRS. I'll need to catch a few winks before I go anywhere else. First thing in the morning, I'll need to go back and check on Elena.
There's been a change in plans. You and I have a date with destiny. Let's go.
It feels like I've been asleep for about 10 seconds when I hear something moving through the office.
Hello again, Murphy. Remember me? If not, how about now? The ability to change forms is a talent I was born with. The metamorphosis is difficult to explain, but I've found it quite useful. I haven't had a chance to thank you for your efforts to our cause. You did us a great favor in retrieving the statuette. It was the last key to fulfilling our ancient prophecies. Now we wait until the appointed time. Incidentally, I've kidnapped your girlfriend. I know you're looking for a certain computer chip. Abandon your search now, and I won't harm Miss Moore. It would be a shame to kill her. Besides, it's not easy stuffing a head into one of those water coolers. Just ask your friend Pug. He's cooling off right now.
I tried for an hour to get Pug's head out of the water cooler, but it was no dice. The police showed up and thought about grilling me until they realized Pug was a mutant. Then it was like they couldn't care less. That's the trouble with this world. A life's still a life, whether it's mine or Pug's, it still has to count for something. If a crime to humanity is committed, someone should have to pay for it. The chameleon had killed Pug for no good reason and had kidnapped Elena. I'm not about to let him get away with it. Not today.
Okay, well, that was the end of day 4, and now we're on day 5, and we'll go ahead and start day 5 next time. So we'll see you then.